Hey everyone, Tafony here. Today's rambling about is on the WMD Crater, an 8 HP kick drum module for Eurorack. It features an analog triangle core oscillator and lots of digital goodies as well. Here's the disclaimer. I picked this one up used from a Canadian seller. I have no affiliation with WMD or its current incarnations whatsoever. This video isn't sponsored or anything. This is just my own series and my own thoughts and ramblings. But more importantly than all that, it sounds like this. William Matheson Devices Crater is a 909 style kick module. It booms, it basses, uniquely it also sustains. It sounds great. Eurorack drums are awesome. I've said this on other rambling abouts that Eurorack drums are my favorite part. And WMD made a lot of iconic drum modules. Crater being my favorite of the ones that I've tried. It's a awesome kick. Let's go over the panel. Bring that decay down a little bit. So what you'll see first, there's some 8 odd LEDs at the top that give you a view of the envelope, what it's doing, and I actually think that's really useful. It's nice to be able to just see, like, okay, if I slam this, you'll see it's never going back to 0 because it's completely sustaining. But if we just dial this in, you can see it's starting to actually have some envelope. I'm getting into some laser gun territory, but yeah. Let's go through the controls. So the decay, obviously, if you're familiar with the usual envelope controls, this is how long it decays for, obviously. And unique to this one is there's also a sustain control if you are sending it gates, which I am not right now. We're just sending it triggers. But yeah, if we open the decay all the way up, we're getting really boomy, like, getting into gabber territory. And bring it all the way down, you get a super snappy envelope. I find it doesn't actually completely close, but yeah, super useful for what we want to do with it. Then there's the click, timbre, or timbre. And so I'm going to bring in the bottom here. There's the click level. I'm going to bring in some click. And the click has its own envelope. So this is sort of like, I think in the manual they say, like, a lot of the, especially analog rhythm users will know that, like, layering kicks, not having just one sound to it, not just having a single sine wave or square wave or what have you. I mean, this one's a triangle wave, but you need to have some layer to your kicks to give them some more oomph. So click has its own envelope, and I think you want it to be a little shorter, so it sounds like, if you're thinking about a real kick drum, like on a drum set, then you want the batter to hit the head with some little oomph, and then the resonance of the kick drum itself to go on longer. So I keep my decay a little shorter than the one on the other. But just so we can hear it for this moment, let's crank the click level and go through the timbres. So if we turn it all the way to the left, it sounds like this. Almost snarey. This one sounds a little, I don't know, floppy. What's the adjective? I don't know. Keep going through. I'm almost into some like claps. And I have it way louder than you ever would, but I just want you to hear it. So yeah, I do like it in like that first one. This one sounds a little more like, I don't know. You can picture you're like in a venue and the drum kit is getting hit so hard that the bass drum is moving forward slowly during the set. So let's mix that in. We don't want it to be super. Yeah. So you don't even like hear it on its own now that it's mixed in, but it's giving it that oomph, because if I take it out, it sounds really bare without it, right? So if I bring it in, yeah. I really like that. Okay. So that's the clicks. And then there is pitch decay. So I'm not going to go over all the ins and outs of kicks, because one, you're probably very familiar with it, and if you're not, I am not the one to explain to you, because I am not the best at it. So what you have is the core pitch, and this is, I think this is sort of, if I'm not mistaken, this is like the core of 909 kicks is always the pitch envelope. So it's basically like a frequency modulation where there's a starting pitch, which is this. I'm controlling it with the pitch knob, and then there is a pitch decay. Sorry. So I'll take off the pitch decay completely right now. And there's your starting pitch. Notice that the click doesn't change pitch. So consider that if you don't like how it sounds at this pitch, but you do like how it sounds at this pitch, like the mix of your analog oscillator and the click. So I like starting here. And what I do love about the Crater is that there is an amount knob, so you can blend in the pitch decay. I find that's like really easy way to like mix it in. So you'll see that in a sec. So if we have the pitch decay all the way down and we bring the amount all the way up, you'll start to hear a bit of movement in the pitch. But if we start bringing in more pitch decay, you'll hear every time the envelope is going to start to do this like zappy thing, because it's going to follow the decay knob. So the pitch decay knob, that is. So we're going to get more and more into zappy territory as that pitch is going up. But what I like to do is blend it in with the amount, which sounds really good. Now I've got my starting pitch too high, so let's bring that down a little bit. This is going to sound better. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Now I know this might sound really cheesy to some of you, but I love crap like this. You might say like, oh, it's like 90s gabber, we've moved on, but apparently I have not. So yeah, that sounds awesome. Sustain knob, like I said, if we're not using ADSR envelopes, or I'm not sending in an envelope at all, then the sustain won't do anything. But it's really cool that it actually has pretty complicated control over the envelope on board here. Now, I think there's a little bit too much pitch, a little too much zappiness. We don't want none, right? But we want a little bit. We don't want a ton, or it sounds like a laser gun. But let's just, yeah, I like this. Maybe we'll just bring the starting pitch down a little bit. There we go. The clipping circuit utilizes a classic symmetric diode clipping method. So in the left position, let's move over to left position. We can bypass it. Now this right now really sounds like an analog kick drum. Not analog in like, sorry, let me rephrase that. Not analog in a like analog oscillator sense. It sounds like a kick drum from a drum set. And then if we move it to the middle position, it engages a restricted version of the clipping circuit, giving distortion that trails off to a clean signal as the amplitude decays. So middle. Yeah, gabber. And then to the right is maximum distortion. So, oh, gabber worthy, the manual says. Well, let's see how gabber worthy it is. Yeah, it's not actually a huge jump from the middle one, but yeah, it sounds sick. Yeah. The middle one, I don't know. It doesn't sound less nasty to me, and this might totally just be current configuration, but like, yeah, it just lets the tail be more natural without losing the distortion of the initial kick. The transients are cleaner, as they would say. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, bless you. And let's do a little modulation. So we're trying to get real complicated now. So I'm using the OCHD, the oct, to send it some LFO. So let's modulate our decay. And there's no attenuverters on board, but that's okay. Modulating your decays is a great way to bring some variation to your drums. This is like Eurorack drums, bread and butter to me. Like, you really need to take advantage of this because that's super powerful. Let's move over to the timbre. Yeah, that sounds great. Let's just send it some modulation. Did I do the volt per octave? This isn't going to work with my LFO, I don't think. Yeah, I get some. I mean, why not? Well, why not? Because it sounds like crap, is why not. Okay, we did our decays. Let's do the click level. Just give some variation. Makes it, like, unpredictable, right? Or not unpredictable because it's an LFO, but, like, unique. Makes your 4-bar loop have some motion. Accent in. Yeah, accents in Eurorack are very cool. Lots of stuff seemed to start to be getting into using it about, I don't know, 5 years ago. There are accent outputs on the WMD sequencer, I believe, and there's an accent input here, and I don't think that's going to work with the LFO, though. Saturation. Ooh. Okay, cool. I need to read from the manual. That actually sounds really good. Saturation. Boost and saturate the signal using the CV. Saturation is before clipping, adding more continuous control over the character of the clipping if enabled. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so we can boost the level, I guess. Like, very cool. And if we do that and modulate our decays, I realize this doesn't sound very musical out of context, but, like, yeah, very cool. And I would probably attenuate my LFO there too, but yeah. Oh, that saturation. Yeah, very cool. Okay, I'm setting volt per octave now. Let's take out our decay. Let me reassign some CV in the... Yeah, okay. Reassign some CV in our Oxy sequencer. So now you can hear the click is probably too much at this point. Yeah, I mean, that's something. I don't There's a context for everything, obviously, but for right now, I'm going to take that off. You can just do a little bit of FM there. Yeah, that's that is the WMD Crater. It sounds awesome. It's a sick kick. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's great. Your rack drums are great, and so is the Crater. All right, I'm Tafony. Take care. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.